find a place you can comfortably sit or lay down and make yourself nice and comfortable. If you've got anything on your mind, just grab a pen or a pencil and write it down on a paper, or make a mental note and pick it up in 12 minutes or so if you wish. For now, this is your time. You've earned it. You're in complete control. If there's anything that you need to do, you can come out of trance. All hypnosis is self-hypnosis. So make yourself comfortable and make a mental note or a list of anything that you need to do afterwards. For now, just make yourself comfortable. Adjust your body. You're nice and comfortable. And carry on breathing naturally and normally. And as you carry on breathing naturally and normally, just breathe a bit deeper if you're comfortable doing so. So breathing through your tummy, and as you breathe through your tummy, you begin to feel calmer. And as you begin to feel calmer and more peaceful, perhaps if you haven't already done so, if it's safe to do so, you can close your eyes. And as you close your eyes, take a moment to let your mind wander. And as you let your mind wander, you become aware of your breathing. As you become aware of your breathing, perhaps you notice your heart beating. As you notice your heart beating, perhaps you notice some sensations on your arms or your legs or your body. And as you do so, let your mind drift. And as you let your mind drift, think of a time you felt really calm and peaceful and relaxed. It may have been on vacation. It may have been on holiday. It could have been a family gathering. If you can't think of a time, create an experience. Almost like a TV screen. And notice what you see. Any sounds, any feelings, and where the feelings are. Perhaps it's a blue sky, or the shining ocean. Perhaps it's the green countryside. Perhaps you hear some birds in the background, or some gentle laughter, or waves crashing. And imagine stepping into the screen and enjoying the experience like the here and now. Really enjoy the experience like it's happening in the here and now. And fully engage in those feelings of bliss, inner peace, and harmony. And as you fully engage in those feelings, you become aware of your breathing slowing down. And as you become aware of your breathing slowing down, you begin to wonder about your weight and the weight you want to be. And perhaps you've set goals in the past. Perhaps you've tried diets in the past. Perhaps you've done one thing or the other and nothing's really worked out the way you want it to work out. Now start with a vision in mind, specifically what weight you want to be in stone, kilogram, or pounds. What exact weight you want to be. What dress size, suit size. Be very specific about how you'll define. And as you do that, every 1,000-mile journey starts as the first step. Rome wasn't built in a day. Perhaps in the past, you've tried the quick fix. Perhaps in the past, you've tried for a week or two and relied purely on willpower. This time it's about going to a roundabout and the journey, knowing it didn't take you overnight to put the weight on. It happened incrementally. And incrementally and safely, you start to visualize a pathway to reducing the weight you want to reduce. And perhaps you think of a time when you were the weight you want to be. Life's circumstances, without being too hard on yourself. Perhaps you had a baby. Perhaps you had something go on in life. Perhaps you had some things that happened in your life that put you off course, and gradually you put the weight on. There's no point beating yourself up. And as you focus on your goal, imagine feeling the goal now. So regardless of what weight you are, you have equally as much self-worth as anybody else. And you feel having the goal. Imagine what it would feel like to have the goal, what you'd see, what you'd hear, what you'd feel. And as you do that, imagine seeing yourself on a screen, the weight and size and shape you want to be, and the compliments you'll get, the feeling you'll get. And as you do that, imagine giving someone some advice who's starting on their journey to reducing weight. What would you say to them? And externalize that with the realization that one of the critical factors in weight reduction is what we eat. Because we know a chocolate bar can have hundreds of calories, and it would take countless hours on a treadmill or exercising to burn that off. So it's choosing foods with higher nutritional values. And you make healthier choices. And you realize some people eat for reward, some people eat unconsciously, some people eat from an emotional point of view. And you realize that some of the foods you ate were based on reward because someone might have told you that there's someone somewhere in the world that hasn't got enough food and you feel obliged to eat the whole plate. Or perhaps unconsciously, like sitting in a cinema and just eating your way through a popcorn packet. So become more mindful with your eating. You taste the food. You notice yourself chewing the food. And emotionally, you recognize the feelings you've got that impact the behavior. I once knew a woman that I worked with many years ago who would come home in the evening and eat all the wrong foods at the wrong time. When I regressed her, she said she'd been going through a very challenging time. She'd broken up and she felt lonely. When we identified the emotion, she went back to a time in her life where she was 4 or 5 years of age. And she'd realized that whenever she felt emotionally upset, her mum would give her chocolate. So she built a relationship with chocolate, sweets, and love. And I got her to release the feeling. So recognize the feeling, because you're not eating the wrong foods all the time. You're not eating now. There's 24 hours in a day. You're not eating every second, every day. There are certain times. So recognize the patterns, the triggers. Recognize the feeling. And rather than fight the emotion, accept it's there. And the emotion could be anger, frustration, sadness, loneliness, and recognize it and accept it. And almost like holding your hands out, let the emotion in and investigate what it's telling you. And as you investigate the emotion, you ask, like speaking to someone in a chair in front of you, what do you want me to do? How come am I feeling like that? And the person opposite the chair is the emotion you're feeling, and you have a conversation with the emotion. And you start to look at new ways of seeing it. And as you look at new ways of seeing it, you let it go. And think of the person you are today and the challenges you've overcome in life. And as you think about the challenges you overcome in life, imagine traveling as far back in time as you can to the very first time you felt that emotion. And as you travel as far back as you can to the first time you felt that emotion, notice what's going on from the left, from the right, from high above. And before it happened, there's no feeling there, no association there. And you can imagine the advice you gave someone else earlier about food. And as you do that, you give that younger self the advice about the situation that was going on in your life back then, and you let go. And you give your younger self a hug and soothing. No more beating yourself up. Speak to yourself the way you would speak to, say, a 4 or 5-year-old. Because the more you beat yourself up, the more resistant you'll be. So have compassion for self. You can make a choice. And as you do that, you travel in time and you reassociate the foods that are having an impact on your life. So if there's anything that you're eating, you can start moderating. And you catch a reflection of yourself in the mirror, the way you are and the way you want to be. And every time you reach out to grab a certain type of food, you catch a reflection of you with excessive weight on in 5 years down the line, if you carry on the way you are. And every time you go to reach out to grab a good food, vegetables, fruit, nutritional value food, you see yourself the way you want to look. So if you reach out for a low nutritional value food, high in sugar, you see a reflection of how you'll look like in 5 years if you carry on down this pathway. And as you reach out for a food high in nutritional value, you see yourself the way you want to look like. And as you do that, you come to the roundabout and you can choose one path or the other. And if you carry on down the same road, you'll carry on putting the weight on. And if you carry down the other road, you can gradually reduce weight safely, effectively. And you can plan your week and internalize yourself planning the week and shopping for food and all things in moderation. And planning your week and planning your shopping and planning your days and planning what you'll eat. Knowing food is for energy and having a balance. There are times you can have what you want when you want. Generally speaking, it's a lifestyle change and seeing yourself more active, because activity contributes to weight reduction, but it also contributes to the wonderful chemicals exercise releases in the brain, the endorphins, to feel better. And the better you feel, the less likely you are to overeat all the wrong foods at the wrong time. And also enjoying activity and the health benefits of activity. And now finally, think of as many reasons as you can, as much fuel that burns a fire, what you want to go away from. what you want to move away from by achieving your goal, the pain that you want to move away from it's causing you. Perhaps you feel sluggish, lethargic, tired. Perhaps you're frustrated and don't feel great. Perhaps it's the health risks associated to eating certain types of food. And see where you want to go. Go to the feeling and think of as many reasons. Perhaps you've got an event coming up, or the beach holiday, or you might have a wedding or a party coming, and really feel the reasons, moving towards the positive. And as you do that, get a balance in between. And know every time you think about eating, or every time you think, well, I'll give exercise a miss, think about the reasons, the fuel that burns the fire. And as you think about the fuel that burns the fire, plan your day. Start bit by bit by putting the first brick, thinking tomorrow what you can do. Breakfast, lunch, evening meal, and exercise in between, and think the day after and the day after that. And just plan your day and your week in your mind and see yourself living on a screen, eating wonderful nutritional food, doing exercise, whether it's walking a country walk, playing sport with family, or going to the gym, or one or all or one. And a whole lifestyle change, and seeing yourself in the mirror, glowing and being radiant and feeling wonderful, because you deserve it. And as you see yourself in that reflection, step into that reflection and start as you mean to go on. And in a moment, I'm going to pause. And as I pause, if it's safe to do so, you can drift off to sleep. Or alternatively, you can come back in your own time, in your own pace, feeling refreshed, recharged, revitalized.